Okay, welcome back. So I was noticing that my audio wasn't the best. This game has issues with the sound, just being really too loud at times, and not loud enough at other times. Like the music is very decent. Like right now we're hearing like wind whipping and stuff like that. So I'm trying to like keep that at 10%. It just seems really loud. How about I just reduce this also to 10%? How about that? There we go. So now it might be, you can still hear it, but it's manageable. Okay, so markets. Now markets is something I'm still struggling with. It's probably the most complex addition to this game, but we have these tabs along the top. We did a little dabbling in the diplomacy. And this, by the way, if you had like vassals or anything, that would all be here. So we dabbled a little bit in diplomacy. We at least appointed generals and you know, admirals. We aren't doing any combat or anything. The geopolitical is for exploring the new world. We're not quite there, although look, we got exploration we can do now. So it's just that it's extremely expensive. Like if I want to explore, that's going to cost me 100 ducats. So, and 10 a month, and it takes like 2 to 3 years to finish. So you're investing a lot of money in exploration, and if I'm going to be spending 10 a month, I need to have an income of 10 a month. You see, otherwise I'm going to be carrying a deficit. So we went through all this effort just to get a positive 2.4. So we're going to try to get this number higher, but just letting you know that exploration can be done now. And if you're familiar with EU4, the Azores is a province of Portugal, but they're unexplored right now. So that's one of the things we'd be exploring. The Azores, Madeira, Canary Islands, and I think Cape Verde is like down here, and then some of this northern Africa coast. So there's some exploration to do. And then once we explore enough, there will be colony options here for us to actually start a colony. Exploration is separate from colonizing. And that costs even more money to do colonies. It's not a cheap thing. And another thing that's really cool is that these Russian provinces up here, see, these are all empty and barren. I actually had the option to colonize this as Portugal. So it's sort of funny how the Russian stuff pops up. But I avoided all that because I'm focusing on my own area. Castile is our largest competitor. And in my game that I played, the Papal States actually competed with me and was colonizing areas that I was also trying to colonize. They were annoying, actually, the Papal States. So, how do we manage our markets and how do I explain this stuff? So, there's three aspects to it. There's the markets themselves, there's trading within the markets, and then in the production tab, you have buildings that you can build, and then, of course, there's the different goods that can be produced, and then I guess you have food as well. I didn't think about that, but that's an important one. In your view, there's this raw materials, and you can see the raw materials of the entire world. Like livestock is very heavy over here, but in our area, you can see we make a mix of things, which the larger nations have an even better job at making a mix of things. Here you can see Castile has a whole bunch of livestock, and you can hover over the livestock, and it highlights all of them, right? So we have a few, and then the one I'm going to highlight is wool. So we have a bit of wool in our provinces. Most of it is in our low control zones, and what that means is they will produce wool, they will sell it to the market. Since we have low control, we're going to get a very low amount of the amount that they sell it to the market for. So the way you make money is these goods, when they sell to the market, you make money from that. You make money from taxing just the different estates. And then as goods are traded and sold, you make money from each of those. Well, these wool production isn't going to make us a lot of money because the control is low. But the important thing is it still goes in the market. 1 unit of wool from here at 20% control is just as much wool as a unit with 100 control. The only difference is how much money you make from it. So the key thing that we're going to focus on here is we're going to focus on the wool and make sure that the market is flooded with wool. Why? Well, because then that's going to bring down the price of wool. And then in the areas that we have high control, we're going to build cloth making companies. And those cloth making companies are going to buy wool from the market. And then they're going to turn around and make cloth and then sell that to the market, hopefully at a higher price. And that's where we're going to start making our money. And I'm going to get into another way to, like, how did you figure that out, Jeff? I mean, we'll get into some of that. Now, there's some things that I want to get out of the way. These goods that you see here, that is not the only thing that those provinces make. So it's the primary thing that they make. It's called an RGO, resource good something something. I don't remember what it stands for. So the RGO for this area is wool. And now here's a perfect example. Lisboa here, its primary RGO is fish, and so is the next one over. This is fish, and that one's stone, and then these are legumes here, right? So I'm going to move this back to normal mode, right? So you got Lisboa here, Setúbal was this one, that's Torres de Verdes, and then Santarém, right? Now, a couple things to notice. See how that star? That means it's the province capital and it's a town. And see that it's a circle? That means it's rural. So it's like farmland. The types of buildings you can build in rural is different than the types of buildings you can build in a town. So, for example, I can put a sheep farm here, but I can't put a sheep farm in a town. And then like here, that's rural, rural, and rural. Now, one thing just to remind you, I'm focusing on these because this is where our highest control is. See, we have really good control of all these areas, and Lisboa itself has 100 control. Why am I focusing on the control areas? Well, because that's where we're going to get most of the profit. We get to keep the money, most of it. So when we sell to the market with stuff from here, we're going to get a lot of money. If I sell to the market with something way out here, I'm not going to get a lot of the money. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's so important to understand. Okay, so with that in mind, let's open up the economy and go to the market tab. And then these are all the markets that we have presence in. What does that mean? Well, let me zoom out. These are all the markets in the world. So there's a Paris market, there's a London market, an Edinburgh, a Dublin, Seville, and Burgos, right? So there's Castile actually has 2 markets. And when I say that they have markets, there's 2 markets in there that they have territory inside of. Now we have territory in the Lisboa market. So all of our territory consists of this market. Now what you're going to see later in the game is some of these territories in this top left, top right corner, they're going to shift out of our market and move into the Burgos market. And the reason that happens is if the roads or anything makes travel quicker to this market center, if they can travel to that market center quicker than they can travel to this market center, then they'll switch which market they're a part of. And so some of those things will then cause them to be a part of the Burgos market. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The big thing is to understand that for a given market, that market we are a participant in it because we have territory in the market. And then the trade advantage, I'm going to just simplify it for you, is who the market is going to sell to first. I have advantage. So if there's only 3 leather in the whole market and I want all 3 of it, I have advantage over Castile, so all 3 would get sold to me first. And so advantage is your pecking order of who gets to buy the good. Now trade capacity is how many trades can I do in that market. And it's as simple as I can actually buy Like the industries are going to buy and sell goods on their own, but I can choose to go into a market and buy or sell goods on my own to manipulate things or whatever. Or if I go into the Seville's market over here, see, we're actually here. We have a 1.62 trade advantage, but we have no trade capacity, so we have no ability to trade while we're there. Okay, what's important to understand is that without capacity, it's not very helpful. Um, so coming back over to Lisboa, which of course we basically have a market that meets our country. We have one market. So I'm going to click on this market, and now we get a more detailed view. So these are all the goods. So if that's alum, and see if I highlight it, it actually highlights on the map. Let's go back to here. So see, it actually highlights where the goods are produced. So this good here, beeswax, you can see was produced right here in Portugal. But the alum, we don't produce any of that. We also don't produce any amber, and neither does anybody else in our area. Okay, so this is in alphabetical order. So now we can look at it several ways. Like this is supply, that's demand. So there's no aluminum demand at all. And then this is, of course, the balance of supply and demand. A negative balance means that there's more supply, or I'm sorry, more demand than supply, which means prices are going to be going up. A positive balance is going to drive prices down. And then, of course, these are the prices. And they give you ranges. So, like, I think right here it's the price is 3, but it's being modified, or here, the price is 2, but it's being modified down to 1.2. And if I can highlight that. So it is saying that the monthly change is going up by 0.2. It has a target price of 3.63. So it's trying to become worth more. And what is this called? It's called sort by market price. So what's interesting about this one is it's sort of misleading because it says 2 and then it's going to 1.22, but really it's going to 3.63. It might be messed up because I need to go through a month. When you go finish a month, all these tabs update, and maybe there's a little bit of that going on. But anyways, then here are options. Like this is, I have a building in my empire that uses that good. This is, I want to select a market to import beer. And then this one is, I want to export because I have more beeswax supply than demand. So maybe I want to export beeswax. So I can click on that. And then I pick which market I want to export to. And the problem is I don't have the ability to do business in that market. So it doesn't do me any good. Like I can click on this. Actually, I think it did just create a trade, didn't it? Oh yeah, it did. Alright, let's get rid of that trade. So I guess it does work. I can trade to the other markets. See, I'm learning something too. And then, of course, import. This one I can say, hey, I want to import from Paris. And then you can see the prices. So my projected profit, actually, it sorts it. You can sort it by profit here. So if I import from Paris, I actually might get 3 ducats of profit. Now, here's my dilemma. I can import all kinds of stuff here. And this is saying I'm going to use all my trade capacity, right, to trade as much of this as possible. I can reduce, so you can see here it's trying to import 3.7 beeswax. I can go all the way up to 6.8. And that's giving me a 3 ducat profit, which is actually really good. The problem is that a month later, the prices change, and then now this is no longer profitable. So it becomes, at least in my experience, you're going to micromanage this a lot and have to come back and cancel all the trades that aren't, making profit anymore, and then go find new trades that do make you profit. Like, I don't know how much fun I consider that to be. And then this here is market automation. So what this is saying is, if I have it automated, it's you can tell it how much trade capacity I want to automate. So that means it's gonna the game will automate everything. This means the game will automate some of it, and that means the game's automating none of it. So, anyways, do I want to import beeswax? That 3 profit's really good, actually. But let's get back to the other thing I can do here is I can sort this. So the most expensive thing in my market is gold, which I have none of. So big surprise, surprise. All I can do is import gold. And you can see here, Lubeck, some of these aren't available. Like, I can't trade with Lubeck. And I think some of that has to do with my trade range. You can see in yellow, I think these are the ones I can trade with. And it's showing me like a path, you know, to get to these different markets. So no one's selling me any gold. That's the problem with that one. Next one is elephants, which I don't expect any market to have. So basically everybody's being stingy with those. Silver. That one I think is available. And there you go. So there's some green markets showing up. And here I'm going to make 34 profit if I go to Dubrovnik and get some silver. That's amazing. So, you know, how much of the silver do I want? Do I want to use my whole trade capacity? Yeah, actually I do. For 34 bucks. Yeah, I'm gonna use up my whole trade capacity for that bad boy. In fact, yeah, I'm gonna just increase it. All right, so we have one whopping trade in our market, and we're doing Dubrovnik to Lisboa, and that one only shows a profit of potential profit of 36. I wish they showed that number down here, but they don't. Okay. So this is just showing the 2 countries that are in this market. And then, of course, food is important. Every area is going to stockpile food. This is important for feeding your armies and your people. Some areas that are urban might have a negative food, and then they're going to have to buy from the market. Okay, so you just saw me take advantage of the fact that silver is really high priced. We have none of it, or hardly any. And the other thing we have none of is fine cloth. So that's what we're going to focus on next. But we're going to do that with our production. So as I was saying, we have some wool spaces here. And so I can type in wool, and you can see that I can build a sheep farm. Or I can make an RGO. So these goods, I have some RGOs. By highlighting this, it shows all the wool producing stuff. It does a really good job. Like, it filters the screen to show that now that I've selected wool, this is the only item here. If I unselect this, then everything shows up, right? So I put in wool. It's showing me that these are all the places that make wool. And I have buildings. I have wool buildings that are making, they're losing profit. And the RGO, okay, so the wool building, let's click on this, is a sheep farm. So I can build a sheep farm in a lot of places. Because I can make wool with a sheep farm, even though, so this is the difference between an RGO and a building. So those were sheep farms that produce wool. The RGOs are these specific places. Those are the only places that can make wool, and it's called an RGO. And so here you go. These are the best places to expand the goods in Lisboa market. So I can expand on Porto Alegre for 33 ducats, and if I do so, I'll get about $1 in profit, and it shows you the control, which is really nice. But you can see that I will get profit for building this, but I won't get profit for building a sheep farm. You see the difference? Now, why is there a difference? Well, Porto Alegre was one of them, right? So let me click on it. Wool is here, and that's the RGO. And if I want to increase the RGO, all I have to do is click on this to expand it. And it does require laborers. I mean, it's not a for free thing to do. But just understand that that the RGO is like a special, the resource gathering operation, like it's a special building. I don't know how else to describe it. But these are your different workers. So if I click on a laborer, they can work any of these buildings. You see that? So if you'll notice, wool is not on here. Now they can make a sheep farm. That is different than the RGO. That's the thing I just want to make very clear. Sheep farms produce wool. I could build a sheep farm here to produce wool, but that is not the same as just producing wool from the RGO. So I don't know thematically what it represents, or you know, maybe that sheep farms are just their primary thing, but like every province has one RGO that you sort of get to build for free. And the difference between this and a building is the building has upkeep and maintenance costs, whereas the RGO really does not. It doesn't show any maintenance costs at all, in fact. It just says there's an output per level and blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to say, yeah, I want to produce another wool. So I'm producing one more. It's going to use 1,000 of my laborers. And I got to be careful because there's only 1,000 here. Now, what if I built another one? If I build another one, now I'm using 2,000 laborers. I don't have enough. So these peasants will promote. And see, it says promotion and portalage. There's 14,000 available, but I'm only going to promote 7 a month. So it's going to take a while to get the 1,000 up there. So I'm right-clicking on this because we only want to make one. Right? But that's the RGO, right? So I'm going to go here. These are all the RGOs, right? So I got wool in this RGO as well for this province and that province, right? So now I'm going to say, hey, I want to make a wool there as well. Okay, so now we're expanding the wool farms that are just naturally there. So I'm not producing a sheep farm. I'm just expanding the RGO. Okay. All right. So now we're going to increase the amount of wool that's going into our market. And you can always look at the market, remember. And we can type in wool. And here you can see that our supply and our demand are even. So I am surging extra supply in, which is going to drive the cost down a little bit. But I don't want to stop there. I have 237 ducats left, so let's produce cloth. So to produce cloth, I either make a rural cloth maker or a spinner's guild. So if I highlight them, and maybe it helps to do this, right? So the rural cloth maker, I don't think I can build them anywhere really, but the spinner's guild, it's showing me where. The Spinners Guild has to be in a town. These are towns. Remember the difference between town and rural? Whereas that is in a rural area. Whereas those can only be in towns. So this is where I want to get a little more strategic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick Santarem because they have really good control. Remember the control there, 93%. So we have a whole bunch of buildings already here, and these are the burghers And yeah, it's a burger building, I believe. So let's yeah, this is a burger building. So we have to be careful, but it only takes 200. It's not 1,000 like the last one. So, and it says that they already have one. So let's go back. So one of these should be the Spinners Guild, right there. So I can just come down here and hit the plus sign. And they have 220 workers, so if I hit the plus sign on the Spinners Guild, I just hired 200 more people, and we're going to build another Spinners Guild. That's going to make some more cloth. Okay, but we're not done. So now we're going to go to Lisboa. We have 200 bucks left, and we're going to build a new building for our burgers here. And we're going to call it... Oh, that's not it. Maybe it's not the burgers. Who does this one? Laborers? No. Well, if you're ever unsure, then get out of this and just go to the production tab again. And then we're going to put in fine cloth. Ah, it's called a tailor's guild. So I'm looking for fine cloth, but it's a tailor's guild. So I want to build a tailor's guild, and it shows me all the cities I can build it in. And, in fact, I can sort it here. The highest profit is in Lisboa. And this is purely because we have 100% control. There's no difference in how much it produces. The difference is how much money we can make off of it because of the level of control. That's the reason why control is so important. You can see we have no fine guild, none anywhere. So one of the things we got to get into, though, is so this thing will use cloth and make a half unit of fine cloth. So it's going to use 0.8. So I just created one spinner guild, and we'll have to look at how much it produces. And it uses other, we could use wool directly, right? And then change it from wool into fine cloth. I don't even need to use cloth. So that spinner's guild is not even necessary. In fact. So anyways, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to produce 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go for 5 in Lisboa. Now they're going to build one at a time, so it's going to take a while. And I probably should build one like in Centarum. But remember, we just hired all the burgers already. And here you can see I don't have any burgers available. I actually yeah, this last one just hired everybody. So we're going to need to wait for people to promote. And, the peasants will promote to laborers. The laborers will promote, they do promote up. It just takes a while. Now, I can build it in the other areas, but this is where I want to go. And then we have 41 left over. And look at this. My profit just jumped to 13. And, holy crap, what made it go up to 13? And it's because our tax income from the commoners and the trade income just went up by 11. And we hadn't even hit unpause yet. So let's do that. I'm going to leave it on 3 speed. We're going to increase the speed eventually, but we're going to unpause it. And so now you're going to see that all of our buildings are going up. You can see our Navy is working on improving the waters. And actually, it's a little anticlimactic. There's nothing really else to talk about while this is happening. The research will be ticking along. You'll see this. But see, we haven't even gone through 1 month yet. So Morocco made us their rival. Everything will change as soon as this hits May 1st. Alright, so we got some stuff that came in. We're making 20 ducats, which is awesome. We made 5% progress. You can see our crown power is up to 30, and they're down to 34. So we've already achieved... I'm going to pause it real quick. We're already over the 25%. And remember all those negatives we had? Look at this. It's now all positive. We're getting 30% extra from our trade. Everything is fantastic. We got positive equilibrium with everybody. This one is negative, but we're high. It's going to come back down to 50. We got the nobility still a little bit too high, but it's still right where we want it. Or I'm sorry, it's not exactly where we want it, but it's better than it was. And yeah, and if I come over to my balance sheet, you can see here that we are getting the 20, and I'm going to increase our minting. What this is our inflation right here. We have 0% inflation. This is the change in inflation. So we can mint money until it gets to 0, because I don't need to reduce inflation if it's already at 0. So I'm going to get a free 2.79 ducats a month for doing this. And if I ever want more money, I can just jam it up, and then inflation will go up by 18%. Or I can just keep it down, and then inflation is going to go down by 5%. But I'm going to go ahead and just put it at 0 positive right there. And then it's going to get me 3.04 ducats. And it's perfect. We got the legitimacy going up just so slightly at 0.01. We could always pump more money into this, but right now, that's a very nice number, 22. And speaking of which, as soon as I get 100 ducats again, we can use that 22 or a month and spend 10 of it to start exploring and get the Azores and some of those going. All right. The only thing that I don't like about this game, like I said, is the microtransactions here of I'm going to click on the market, and there's the trading tab. These are our current trades. And so all of a sudden, the profit for this thing went way down. It was 30. Now it's down to 5. Did you see that, how it changed? Like, this is just, you know, there's other things now that are making more money. If I trade for this, I can, well, it's potential profit of 72 cents, but I can start trading for other things. And it's probably because I'm flooding the market with silver. And I'm putting more silver in the market than it needs. And let's check that out. So silver went from being at the top to now here, and actually the supply and the demand are still equal. So right now we're okay. But yeah, it's gonna be an issue the whole game. And then the jeweler here is a big one. So are the books. But anyways, let me go ahead and unpause. So we got a arrival from Granada. We're going to move it up to 4-speed. Alright, so trade ran out of supply. So this is the part, like I was saying, it's annoying. So now, all of a sudden, we're losing profit from this trade. So I got to get rid of that trade, and now I got to think of, okay, what am I doing again? And, you know, some people might think, hey, it's not so bad. I think it's horrible. So now I got to go back into the market and figure out what am I going to trade again. I can look at my market price. Sometimes that's not the best way to look at things. I look at my market price because I'm like, well, if I get the most money, like silver still is worth a lot of money. So then it becomes, okay, I want to trade for silver again. But, you know, we went Dubrovnik last time, but I was doing the whole 11 capacity. Now it's down to 5.71. So what it's saying is I'm depleting the market. I'm basically buying it quicker than they have it available, which actually is making the price of it go up. So right here you can see the profit is 15. It's still really good profit. But I could buy some from Dublin and so forth. So, or I could just hit automate and then the game will figure it out. That's the... Now, what I wish they had is I want to click on trades, and I just want to see. See, these are trades being done by other countries. I want to see what trades can I do that'll give me the most profit. Like, I just want to see, okay, this market has this good. Like, I feel like I have to search. Now, this is looking only at my market for the trades. And then you can switch to the Burgos market, for example. Here they got the market automation is on for the Burgos market, so I'm letting the game, if I ever get trade capacity here, oh, and I guess I never answered. If I ever have a province in there, or there are foreign buildings you can build in other people's territory, like a trade market or something, a trade depot. There's things you can do, and then that'll let you trade in other people's markets. Okay, so I got to worry about my own market. And there's several ways to look at it. I was looking at it as, okay, silver is going to get me a lot of profit. So if I come back to what we were doing before and go into the Lisboa market, goods, I want to import silver. I still want to get from Dubrovnik. So it's just going to be less silver than before. Done. I still have 5.59 capacity. Well, that's where some of this comes in. So here I have, in the Lisboa market, 4 of my buildings need fruit, tar, and here you can see the silver. We need books, fine cloth, clay, jewelry. So there's a lot of things that they need, right? And then we got unprofitable buildings. These buildings aren't making a profit right now. And then the people have needs. So some of them need furniture, for example. So if I go back, what is that? Furniture. So if I try to import some furniture, there's nobody selling furniture to me. So don't have that as an option. What else do the people need? We can get some sturdy grains, because I know we don't produce that in our country. There you go. So there's it's a modest profit, but we can, from Oslo, let's get some sturdy grains. Okay. So what I noticed was things like tar. So this is a rural area, and we happen to have 0 laborers. This one has 0. These are what the peasants can build for themselves. That puts peasants to work. Like a market village increases their power, gives you a little bit of trade advantage in the market. So it will help. The fishing village will help get you food if you need that. But let's go back. These are not the best examples here, because we have no actually, we do. We have 1,000. I'm sorry, I'm reading it wrong. This one has 3,000. So we noticed here that we need tar. And there's a tar pit I can make right here. So don't let the RGOs confuse you. This province has stone as its RGO. But I'm going to build a tar kiln, because the province can also make tar. So that's like, it's sort of like confusing at first, but it's really, that's what you got to understand. And then fruit is one of the RGOs. So we have fruit, for example, right here. So I can just tell them I want another fruit, which will help feed the people, right? Because they need fruit, so do some of the buildings. So we can have our any RGO that produces fruit just automatically make it. And we don't have that many. Here's another one down here. So I'm going to make another one. Oh, I'm out of money. So I got to hit go. It's real easy to spend all your money. But we were able to go from just 2 ducats a month Now we're at 6. So we're not making quite as much. That silver was really carrying the team there. But going from 2 to 6 is still good. And not only that, but none of our buildings are done. All of our buildings are still producing here. So we got the fruit building, we have the wool building, or the wool RGO, if you will. Here we go. We got our alliance with Castile. This one will give us equilibrium. Equilibrium is so important. You want good equilibrium with your estates. This will help us if we were, you know, integrating nations and whatnot. So definitely choose that. It just makes these positives, these numbers go more positive. And they broke their alliance with us. That is so crazy. That was an event that caused that. We were improving their, yeah, we're improving their opinion. I think it's because they still don't like us very much. So that event didn't help us. Really bizarre. So here we go. This is oh, one of our princes died. He was the son and heir to Portugal. He died from a fever at 17. That's horrible. Trade has run out of supply. We need another cabinet member. And then this, RGO, missing employees. So if you recall, we built a wool here. So they're 972 employees short. And then what's going to happen is the peasants are going to, they promote. So they're going to get plus 11. You can see 17 laborers, 1 noble, 1 cleric. I see. That's the promotions. So 1 person's going to become a cleric, 1 person is going to become noble, and 17 are going to become laborers. And we have 14,000 peasants. So we have plenty of peasants to promote. It just takes time. And over time, the number of laborers will grow. And then the fact that we have a shortage, I think, makes them grow a little quicker because we know we need them. And like I said, the trade's out. So now I got to come back, cancel this trade. And last time I eventually got fed up and just automated the markets because I just couldn't stand doing this all the time. So Dubrovnik still has silver, but now it's at 0.72. So I'm going to ask for 0.72, and I'm going to get some from Dublin. Just keep bringing in silver. And hopefully it won't run out anymore. So then, as far as everything else, what else can we bring in? I don't want to bring in things like books. But here we go. Saffron is a big one. Looks like we actually produce saffron. I didn't realize that. So we're dead even there. Another thing to look for is like things where the demand is higher than the supply. Like we tried to bring in furniture. That's still not an issue, or still not something we can do. So let's do this. So this is where the supply is way larger than the demand. So we could use some of our trade capacity to sell. So like if we want to just sell fish. If I were to sell fish here, I'd get a profit. We could sell 6. What was our surplus? Yeah, we can sell 6. Let's do that. We'll sell 6 fish to Bordeaux for 3.66. That used up all of our capacity. So we don't always have to import. And then, actually, that helped. Look, we bumped up to 9 again. That was actually a good deal. Now we're up to 12. Excellent. That was very good, actually. We had a lot of surplus of fish, which makes sense. We're on the ocean. And so, yeah, sell those to Bordeaux. They can have their fish. Ah, one more thing. We got to get a new cabinet member. None of these are nobles, by the way. They all have horrible administration. These guys stink. He's got really good diplomacy. You can see what they like. We were using him to the old one to increase control, which we're gonna take this guy. No, we already have somebody stabilizing the country. Yeah, control is one of the admin ones. See, none of these are really helpful. But we're gonna, yeah, we'll take this guy. That guy dying from the fever was bad for us. All right, so then we're gonna change his role. We're not gonna. I mean, we can have him. Here, let's go back. It's our cabinet. So he can still increase control. He's going to do it at a 1.58% monthly, which I guess is still something. And he gets a 15% bonus because of his 32 rating. It's not horrible. Let's take advantage of his military strength, though. His military strength is stronger, so let's have him strengthen the government, which increases our legitimacy by 0.1. See, that just jumped to 0.18. Legitimacy is important because it's like the belief that our monarchy should rule. So, and also, if you can notice here, it gives you a bonus to crown power. So it's not horrible. And so we'll go ahead and do that. Then if we look at the estates here, we're up to 22%. So we were higher. We're not anymore. It's because we lost our dude. He was giving us the bonus that we needed. So we're back below our number. But anyways, we'll get there. Oh, another thing that's new to EU5 is this is a situation. See this purple here? So the 100 Years' War is happening. And all these nations are going to go to war against all those nations. And the way it ends is if any of these check marks happen. You know, owner or overlord is England and more than 200 location in France, blah, 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 blah. So it doesn't affect us, but it stays active for literally 100 years. And there's going to be other events that are going to come up like this. Some of them we're going to be a part of, and some we're just going to be watching from afar. So silver from Dublin is already out. So we can see here that we already lost the Dublin silver. So that's out. We do need to buy silver because we make no silver. It helps us with our industries, our jewelry industries, and with minting. Now what this is our current trades. This is telling us what we should do if we want to get a profit. So it's telling us to do Dubrovnik here, which I thought we were already doing. It's telling us to do more silver, but here it's telling us to just import some jewelry, and then it's showing the predicted profit for each thing. That's suggested imports. This is suggested for helping the population to get what they want. So like one of them is legumes. We can make more legumes. I just need money, right, to make more stuff. Oh, what should I do? The dyes is not a bad deal. Sure, let's import some dyes. We can also try to export something that we have a lot of. I don't think there's a lot of that yet. So all of our wool industries have finished. And then maybe one of the Yeah, see, we got 2 of them finished, in fact. So if I click on, I want to look at my buildings that are in here. So if I go to buildings and then, what was it? I was trying to put textile, but that's not it. Oh, it's Tailor. Tailor's Guild, right? So I'm going to click on Tailor's Guild. Here we go. That's what I meant to do. So the Tailor Guild in Lisboa is currently using silk to make fine cloth. You can see it's making 1.46. I'm not sure that that's smart. And it's doing an enhancement of aluminum and dyes to get extra profit. I'm going to switch that to wool. So it's making 1.04, so a little bit less. That's why it's using the silk. The problem is I don't know if I'm getting enough silk in my market to sustain this. This one uses wool. It's a technology one. I need the Spanish cloth industry to be supported in an event to be able to do this one. So I could use wool, but it takes it's going to make less of it, whereas the silk produces more. That produced 1.46, so get a profit. So this is much more sustainable. Or I can use the cloth, like remember I was telling you. Right here, current profit is 12.8, 12, and 15. So I'm going to lose 3 profit, but I do think the wool is more sustainable, so I'm going to select the wool. And then as for this, I get that this is making a lot of extra money. I just don't know how long I can sustain that. But we'll do it. And yes, that's a micromanaging to umpth degree, because every one of these buildings you can control things like that. And you can see here, you know, how it works. Now what I could do is we can have it automate your production methods, right? Which is what it's doing here. Or by unclicking it and deactivating it. So I went in and just manually changed the production method, but this is saying that the game will control the production method. And sometimes the game's not going to be smart, because like I know I'm making wool, so I want to use wool. Then I know my buildings will never run out and I'll never have a shortage. Whereas the game, I'm assuming, is going to be smart enough to know that when I run out of silk, it's going to switch to the wool. But that's not necessarily true. But I also want my wool to be more profitable for me. So I am going to uncheck that. And we're going to have them do the wool, because that's going to use a good that I produce. So if they're purchasing goods that I produce, I'm going to make more money. Not necessarily from the fine cloth, but from the wool. And if I do regular cloth like this, then I might be making more money, because now I'm making wool, which turns into cloth, and then I'm turning the cloth into fine cloth. You see what I mean? So actually, that might actually be the better move. This part at the bottom, I'm still not sure, because the aluminum and the dyes, we're probably going to have to start trading for those. And we can look it all up. So right here, ALUM. So here you can see we do have a supply. We're getting it from Aragon import from the Barcelona market. So Aragon is bringing it in, and so they're making some money. And then the dye, Flemkin is bringing some over, and so is France. So other nations are giving us these resources, so we're able to use them. So why not, right? And then the wool, we just made the demand go up by building the cloth industry, and that's going to make the price for wool to go up as well, theoretically. So plus 16.9%. Yeah, so the wool price is going up. We may not want that to go bonkers. And then here's the cloth. So we're going to make the demand for cloth go up because we have this industry down here. And here we're not producing enough, but we're making more buildings still. So this is going to get better and better for us. And right now the price is really, really good. Anyways, I hope that made sense. It's math. And some people just don't like math and it's not going to be fun. And boom, I'm out of supply again. For the silver, these are suggested imports. This is Dubrovnik again. Let's do that to get some silver. There's some Dublin silver, which we're not getting. All right. We are at 51. So I want to come back down to here. I think these guys had fruit. Let's get another fruit going because we need fruit for our people. Yeah, see, inefficient minting because we don't have enough silver to mint anymore. And there's... Oh, we'll deal with this event in a second. So we ran out of silver again. So now they're telling us we got the Dubrovnik. Well, here, let me cancel this one. And let's click on that one. There we go. We're getting it all from Dubrovnik again. This event, I think, is broken. The University of Coimbra was originally founded. It was given the name of Estudo Geral, and it remained in the city until 1308 when it was moved to where it is today. These conflicts have subsided, and the rule could see the university be returned back to the capital, Lisboa. So I told it to return it to Lisboa, which enacts this policy, which gives you monthly centralization, and you gain a university. I think, though, it keeps giving me this, which is, to see the decentralization. I want the university, so let's try it. I'm going to click on it. And you can see that here in the laws. We have, I don't know where that would be. It's an education thing. Right here, Estudo Geral. So right here, you can see there's a little timer. So we're doing Estudo Geral and Lisboa. So if I click on this, the Coimbra gains a university. You see that? We don't. That's what was confusing. Maybe I'm wrong and the university got built and I'm just not noticing it. Let's look. That's a temple, scriptorum, cathedral, monastery. Oh, there it is. University right there. Okay, it does work. So why is university good? Of course, it improves literacy. Literacy improves your research speed. And I always send things to Lisboa because there's more people there. So you get more benefit. Another question you might be wondering is right here. Oh, that's the control. This one. I can support 149 buildings. I have 29 right now. So I can put a lot of buildings in Lisboa. I got to have the right people, right, to employ into them. But I can support that, and it's largely because of my development. So if I improve development, it allows me to build more buildings. So just giving you an idea that there's a lot of buildings you can build before you run into problems. And here we got silver, the dyes, everything's falling apart. Here we go, silver from Bordeaux, silver from Dubrovnik, and this is silver from Dublin. See, because as long as we have minting problems, we're not making money. Well, there it is again. So we run out of supply. You see where I'm going? Like, why this is annoying? So what I could do is just have them manage the market for me. And I sort of, like, for the YouTube video, do I really need to do this? I don't. I want to, like, become good at this on my own, and having them manage it doesn't help me to be good, but it is just so annoying. Okay, so if I go here, hope I want to sort by this. So I have a massive surplus of wheat. There's nowhere... Oh, there is no surplus of wheat. That's because I have a massive shortage. I need the other one. Okay, we got a lot more fish. We have wine. So what if I want to export some wine? Edinburgh even has a demand. I mean, it's not a huge profit area, but we'll do it. Okay, we just finished our tar. And you can see our profit just went up even more. And now, once again, we're out of supply. I want to be able to tell it I want silver. So just, you know, this is, I won't pay any more than this price for silver. Now go out and get as much as you can for less than this price. That's what I want to be able to tell it. And I don't care what market it's from. Here we go. Here's some silver from London. It's not a lot, though. I don't know why it's not letting me. Okay, so somebody wants to join my my court. Now, joining the court just simply means, if you've played CK3, you'll understand this. Joining the court just simply means they're in your area and available for you to use. You can appoint them as a general, an admiral, or they just sit there and just enjoy being a part of the court. And, you know, just like the movies, you know, they're just constantly, you know, drinking all of your wine and complaining. And so we could choose to ignore it and gain 7 stability and then move 10 towards the humanist. But I totally welcome, usually. I mean, you could look at his stats here. Well, those are amazing stats. 88, 73, 27. And, yeah, let's bring him in. So I'm at 89 bucks, and it's very expensive to do this. But, like, with the, see, like, his stats aren't, this guy's stats aren't very great, right? So I can That's right, I don't have a head of cabinet anymore either. I'm pretty sure I can fire him. Right, we finished the research, so let's pause. Maybe I can't fire him. Or that's what this is. Yeah, so here I can replace him with the guy we just got. So Simon Dubois is the guy we just got. Look, his numbers are way better. So we're going to have him come in. And now, strengthening the government does use military, which we're going to switch him, his role. We're going to stop doing that, and we're going to either increase, let's increase province control. And where do we want to do it? We'll do that. Okay, what do we want to research next? Institution growth won't help us until later, but it's very important. This is improving literacy, which is going to help our research speed. And then this will give us a 0.05 to this ticker right here. So right now we have a 0.05. It'll become a 0.1. So all of them are good. I'm going to go with this one first. It also increases the number of burgers that are in the town. So you know how like we only had like 2,000 laborers. And then we employed them, and then we had to wait for more to come. This is increasing how many can be in a town, so they'll promote, and there'll be more available for you to employ with your buildings. So once again, our trade has run out of supply. This time, the London market. And some of it is because silver is so fickle. I'm sure that these markets barely have any silver to trade to begin with, and that's why, like, we're basically buying it all up. Here we can buy some gold. It's only going to give us a 0.07 profit. But this is where, yeah, I'm getting very annoyed. And Dubrovnik has more silver again. Let's try it. See, we don't even have enough to mint. Just to check on this one. You can see they're still 856 short. And yeah, we're out of supply again. There's no silver showing up anywhere. So let's bring in some, what is this? Saffron. We'll bring in some saffron. Alright, trade's out of supply. There's some more silver again. Let's try that. Oh yeah. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm still buying the silver. You notice it just went away on its own? Okay, so we're still missing... Look, we're actually missing wool. So we need more wool. And that's important to know. So we have this guy here. Going to improve the wool. And that one. And that one. So let's build 3 more wool. And then I also noticed that we have other shortages. I don't think we make sturdy grains. We do have wheat, though, and fruit. And then over here on this side, it's wheat again and wool. See, they're short on fine cloth, which is... We're working on that. See, we have a lot of wheat. In fact, quite a few. Wheat. We have wool. You saw me working on the fruit. I don't think we have the sturdy grains. In fact, I don't think there's any sturdy grains. Is there a way I could search? Here we go. Sturdy grains. It's all the way up here in Europe. There's looks like Spain has a few. But in our area, we don't have any. So it's just one of those things that we just don't have. I don't think it's a... I think legumes was one we needed, wasn't it? Looks like we covered that problem. We're short on beer. And some of these things like beer or whatnot sell for good money. And then while I'm at it, I want to look at this. So we're getting good profit. Very good profit. Doing the cloth thing instead of directly taking wool. And see right here, there's no silk left in the market. So see, we did the right thing. We got out of the silk business. Like, it was profitable probably for a little bit, but then we would have had to switch anyways. So we're doing the right thing. Okay, we just flooded some wool. I have 89 ducats. I probably want to get some exploration in just to show you how that works. But to be honest, we want our economy to get roaring here. And helping the people, these are goods that they need. I will tell you that lumber is one of those things that you want to improve upon because those are construction goods. You're never going to be told you need lumber. It's just one of those things you need to have in order for construction to go smoothly when you're building all these buildings. But let's do a wheat one. And let's do one that we have a lot of control, which is like this one. And yeah, there's strongholds and other things we can build. But the other thing we want to do, there's a lot we want to do. The Great Plague is coming. The bubonic or Black Death or whatever. So we need 200 ducats to build a hospital. And the hospital will help. It's not going to prevent deaths from happening, but it's going to reduce them. And the high population areas could really use one. But that's a lot of things to do at once. And that's probably why we need to not focus on exploration yet. Okay, so a holy relic was discovered. This burn it heresy thing moves you in a spiritualist track and makes the church happy and gives you religious influence, which you could spend with the papal stuff, the Catholic Church. But almost always you should choose this. Who cares if you're moving towards humanist? The thing is the regalia is what's important. So I'm going to say yes to that. And it's showing that I got a work of art, but that's happened 100 times. The achievement system is broken. It keeps telling me I got an achievement when I already have it. So under society, there's a work of art tab. And we have 3 of them now. And the one we just got in 1339 is right here. So we started the game with 2 of them. This one helps with the tradition, and uh, they're not the greatest thing in the world. I mean, promoting your population is the biggest thing that it helps with. If you need to convert them from one religion to another, assimilation, if they're from other cultures, um, those are, and you can hover over every one, and it tells you like what the culture of tradition is, blah blah blah, and they all more or less. So like this one is a 6.51, this one's a 6.10, so they're around the same regions. So this quality of art improves all of Portugal here, and then just Lisboa here. And anyways, long story short of it is the one you want is the promotion speed, because that's helping them to get promoted so they can fill jobs quicker. And it's just really nice to have works of arts in your country. I very rarely see the reason to, and it's not like it angered the church to do it. It doesn't, help. Okay, so I mentioned we probably should build a lumber. So let's do that, because we don't want to be short on lumber. Oh, we're going to ignore this, because I think this is the silver thing. Right here. We can now call Parliament. Okay, so it's asking me where do I want to call Parliament from? And somewhere here, if we select our capital, then we move towards centralization. But if we pick another location, we go towards decentral. So I always choose the capital for that reason, because I want to move it towards. And then these are all things that benefit our country. So supporting this, I will then build a cathedral in Centarum. It's going to cost me 78 though. What does a cathedral do? Well, you highlight it, it tells you. It gives them literacy, which is going to help with research speed. Castle works. Now, there's two things that happen, I should mention. While you're debating it, you get these bonuses. And then after it passes, you get this bonus, which just is the maintenance cost for your forts goes down by 20% for 10 years. So, if that's what we wanted, then that's what we get. The debate time is like maybe a year. So this here is a great time to build forts, right? Because your forts are going to be half off during that year. The cathedral one, same deal. We're going to progress towards spiritualist, and then eventually after it passes, this is going to go away, but the other thing comes back. Okay, so of all the things here, which ones do I like the most? Well, first of all, they're all good. It's just that, so this one gives you trade expedition, which improves your capacity. It lets you trade and sell more things. But the naval infrastructure is a very powerful one. That gives you extra development in all these regions along the coast. And it gives you points towards naval. There's nothing bad about this one. And you can build ships for 1/4 off on your price. So improving development lets you build more buildings. And development also, I think, gives you possibly more tax potential. I don't think so. I think it's more tied to how many buildings you can build. But we're okay. We have plenty of room for buildings right now. So what I think we want to do is we wanted to strengthen the government, which I don't see. The consensus is going to just help us get growth. Not needed. This lets us get more characters, one character, with those stats into the officer pool. They're not that great. So, let's not do that. Army exercises will give us 10 army tradition. I mean, it's not horrible. It's not great. The one we're missing is it's called strengthen the government, and what that would do is that would give me more crown power. That's the one we wanted. Promote a member of the clergy. We get a skilled member, but it doesn't tell us what. We just got a skilled member not too long ago, and they're pretty nice. So, given the options here, the cathedral is really good. I don't want to spend 70 ducats at the moment. We're trying to hoard our money and buy other things. So, what I want to do then is let's get our development. That's always a good one. So I'm going to select that. All right. So it is now an event that has this level of approval, 21%. So I'm going to click on it, and now it takes us to the Parliament tab. And this support here, the different percentages, is based on the estate power. So autonomy support is something that I don't know what estate it is. Let's go here. Which estate's at 18%? Clergy. So see, clergy's at 19% here. The clergy's behind this one. And then the 12% is probably the burghers. So the burghers are behind this. And then the 6% is, I'm guessing, the commoners. Yeah. So they're slightly lower because there's probably some penalty. But basically, you got Parliament. You got representation from all the estates in Parliament. And so the burghers will support me if I adopt this here of traditional ideas. So what does it do? I lose 2.5 research, which we calculated was what, a month's worth of research. And then I'll move 2 towards traditionalists and my societal values. If I do that, it is going to anger the nobility and the burghers by this amount. So this is not a burgher one, apparently. Probably a clergy. And but it'll improve this approval by 12%, and we're at 21. I need 50% to pass. The other thing I want to possibly do is ask for a law change, which right now is the time, but I need this to get to 50% in order to do that, and then I need to get to 50% again in order for the original law to pass. So I need a lot of support, folks. So how do I want to do this? Like if I want a law change, what's the best way? Well, I could come over here or come here and click on the laws, and we got a lot of them, right? So we have censorship. Right now we're on this one. That's not horrible. The heir religion is fine. We're looking for anything that takes away our crown power. So border controls. This one does not allow foreign migration. It does allow. So this lets us tax the peasants more. This one gives everybody literacy. That's not a horrible one. Not bad. This is the one we just chose, which is still 79% complete, so it's still working on finishing. The mining laws. Right now, nobility controls it. We can change it. Like, this is a really nice one. Distribution of power. Here's one. We're in traditional, so our crown power is minus 10%. So I want to get rid of that. All estates do get a 2.5% equilibrium, though. So, and also I get a nice bump to legitimacy. But I want to get rid of that, and I want to move to... This is a great question. Which one do I want to move to? Like this one makes me get crown power, but all the estates are unhappy. I still might choose it. Yeah, so let's do that. Alright, so now I know which one I want to do. I want to do distribution of power, and I want to get rid of traditional distribution. Yeah. Alright, so if I come back here, I'm going to support autonomy. Get an 18% bump. So then it just fills in with a new one. And I'm going to support traditional ideas. Get a 12% bump. So now we're over the 50% needed, and I'm going to ask for a law change. And we're going to do, I think it was this one, right? That is not the right one. Distribution of power. This is going to make everybody angry. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Okay, but now we lost 50 support again. But our crown power should go up because of that. I think I have to wait until next month's ticker to see it update. Alright, but we're not done. So now we got to get up to 50% again. So let's support Spiritualist. That's an easy one. We can do Traditional. Also easy. It's only 2% though. And we're making the nobles really angry here. Adapt Innovative. They want a new marketplace. Sure. That just cost me 16 ducats to build. And I'm out of support. I don't have enough to get to 50. That's pretty wild. I've never had that happen to me before. I think some of it's because they're so angry. So I can come here and I can bribe the estate. But see, they need 241. I may have made a bad decision here. Let's, I got too aggressive. Let's let some time go by. See, some of the equilibrium's back. It's just and even their equilibrium's getting better. And you can see, we got rebellious estates. So if I come in here, yeah, there's no... See, because they're so angry at us. The estate satisfaction is minus 90%. I'm not going to pass. It's not the end of the world. I wanted to change the law more than I wanted to change the... So there's only 60 days left. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to make it pass. Sometimes you get an event that pops up that lets you get free points. We're not even getting that. Still can't do an alliance. Like right here, we can get 5%. Or just get 0.25 development, which is one of the goals. 5% is not going to help me. So I'm going to just take the 0.25. Yeah, see, we failed. So we lose 7 stability. We move 2 towards land. That's not the end of the world. So now I got to wait 2 more years, and then we'll get another parliament. It might take that long to get the nobles happy again. We'll see. Oh, we did go to a new month, though. So there I am. I made it to 25% again. We're back in the green. Now, there's things, like I said, I want to get rid of 2 of these. But I could give them more. The thing you got to be careful of is the power. Like, that gives them 100% power. But this is a really nice army item. So, just got to be really, really careful. The commoners have 4 of them, which is interesting. They don't have a lot of power, though. So, like, giving them some power may not be a big deal. It's just, is there anything here that I want? Like, this means this makes production worse. This makes them happy, but then there's less output. This reduces the size of the RGOs, but they eat less food. I guess that's important if you have food issues. Yeah, like I don't even like any of them. So, you know, the burger ones, they probably have some good ones. Like this one, reduce the building cost. Some of the buildings are expensive, like 200 coins. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with this yet, but there's some good ideas in there. All of our buildings completed. Here's a new one, Oslo. Dublin. So we're getting 10 ducats from our markets. So it's telling us what our profit is right here, which is very cool. So you can see we're living purely off of our profit right now. And now, why did this jump up? It jumped up because, see, that's only 27%. That used to be 80%. We're minting money here. We just finished another research. Most of the time, you could just select from here. But it is helpful to go here. And I got to scroll right to get to the tree, right? Because it's only showing me this one, this one, this one, and that one. Because those are the 4 that are available to us right now. If I click on this to research, it'll then show me the next 2 because I can queue up. You know, I can have a queue. But sometimes it pays to look all the way down the tree because maybe there's something at the bottom you really want, like that stability investment, that makes, even though we haven't chosen this one, because I don't really need diplomacy at the moment, but maybe it's worth it because I want to get army tradition, cultural tradition. Actually, they're all good, to be quite honest. There's nothing wrong. The maximum RGO size is important, but not right now. That's just nice to have. Diplomatic capacity. Yeah, I mean, so none of them are jumping out at me like you got to have it right now. But I think these ones actually help me the most right now because this will make the ticker go up, and this down here will make this ticker go up. And I need a lot of stability if I want to take privileges away from the nobles. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And then what that is that's 3rd in the queue. So I got to research this first, and then this, and then this. And it'll be automatic. And then I'm actually going to select the whole queue. The whole Christian queue is pretty nice. Now, getting back to this, I do need institution growth. And I don't need that per se. But I do need this one. That one's a nice to have. And then I'll get that one last. So this 10 research is everything in the research tree. There's nothing else available. When we go to age 2, there'll be more available. And then if I ever get meritocracy, which won't happen for a long time. Okay, so poor government policies. We can make the nobles even angrier. Or we can lose 5 prestige. I'll lose 5 prestige. I can't have him getting angrier. Losing 10% would have been horrible. They're currently at 15. Alright, 1 second. Okay. So our Tools Guild, losing money, and so is our Mason. I should probably look into those as well. See, there's, like, EU5 has become so much of an economic game, whereas EU4, all the economics was abstracted a bit. I mean, you still had to make money, and there was a balance ledger, but it wasn't ever this detailed. So, I don't know. I can understand why they added automation. Because I can understand why some people are just not going to like this. So, our Tools Guild is taking iron. So they're just saying that we're not making any profit. Because in the market, yeah, see, there's not enough demand. There will be, though. Like, to me, that's just like... So we're taking iron, or stone would also work. Or copper and tin. Yeah, I'm just not worried about the Tools Guild. And the profit, the loss is not very large. And like these ones, look, it's 0. Sometimes I'm concerned because like the reason you're losing the money is because of you don't have any input good. And see, some of them would make a profit. It's because of the control and where they're located. Yeah, that one uses stone, and it produces masonry. Yeah, we're fine. The revolt from the nobles is coming. That's not going to be good. I know I have enough to explore, but I want to build a hospital. In fact, I want to build several if I can. It's really hard to do. So... where's our population? Oh, that's right here. So if you look, we're at 70K there. I mean, if I scroll out, it shows bigger numbers. And then it's showing the migration, right, where everybody's moving to. Got a lot in Porto. Okay. And then we have this. Our silver from Oslo has run out. Surprise, surprise. Look at that. We got some gold from Dubrovnik we can get. Let's try it. I do like this. It's saying suggested imports for profits. But the thing is if I just choose these, all I'm doing is I might as well just turn on automation, because the automation is going to choose the same thing. And in fact, we could turn on automation and see what he ends up doing. That one's out. That one's out. Okay, we have enough. So we're going to pause real quick. So in Lisboa, I can't remember which type of person it is, but so like these are the cleric buildings. Right here, hospital. So when you see these up here, it's because we already have one built. So we don't have a fortress church, we don't have a hospital. And that's what this indicates. I mean, this is lacking beer. Yeah, so we probably need some beer somehow. But I want to build a hospital. And bam. Now what does a hospital do? Whoops. So it's going to use a bunch of stuff. Why is it not saying? There we go. Character life expectancy goes up, and disease resistance is 10%. That, I know it doesn't sound like much, but it really will make a difference. So it's not going to, you know, save everybody, but it's definitely going to make a difference. So if I grant him a title, he joins the nobility. We could just get 10 prestige. I'll just take the prestige. Gonna go up to 5. So our general... So he's a noble that's leaving us because they're unhappy. So he left for Castile. So now we can hire another general. And I don't want another noble, because I'll run into the same problem. Oh, this guy's that guy's really good. This guy's not bad. The 30s are low, but oh, he's in my cabinet. I wish they would remove those. How about him? And I just remembered, in our cabinet, I can make this guy head of cabinet. which is going to give us more efficiency in what we do. Our balance also changed. See, we're getting a negative here. I always want that to be just slightly positive if possible. Our minting is poor again. Alright, so we just made it to age 2. And we have to select a focus. What this does is this puts technologies in our technology tree. So if I choose military, I'm going to get technologies that's associated with boarding parties, finest of horses, you know, these kind of things are all going to be added. If I choose diplomatic, then I'm going to get integrated elites, blah, 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 blah. This one will help me with debts and loans, thirst for knowledge. To be quite honest, I don't know which one to take. But I'm going to choose administrative. And here's the deal. We have like 9 more research queued up. But so now that we're at age 2, this research over here unlocked. So we can get scholarly treaties, which reduces the cost of revoking privileges and the cost for embracing an institution. And then grant privilege over here. Maximum RGO size. Food production boosted. Maximum RGO. Stability. I mean, it's a lot, as you can see. I'm not a fan of the of this system. Like, I almost prefer the left to right technology tree, because I just feel like first of all, it's hard to read, and then, you know, scrolling around is a little problematic. The good thing though is you can. I thought for sure. Oh, right here. So if I want to, like, you know, what do I want to improve? I want to improve research. Nope. I want to do trade in distant markets. So actually, there you go. That improves my trade range right there. And I need banking, right? I mean, it does have that ability, but right now I'm just going to leave it the way it is. So burgers are unhappy now. These guys are almost ready to revolt. That's not good, but we got 100 ducats. Let's do an explore. So if I zoom out all the way and hover over this, you can see that they're going to explore that region. And then down there, they're going to do that. They can even explore Scandinavia, Maghreb, the Sahara area. So let's get the Azores. And then I get to choose where I want to do it from. And this sorts it by distance. So I want the shortest distance. So like Barcelos here is where I'm going to launch from. They're all in the Lisboa market, so it doesn't matter. They need naval supplies. if I choose a market that does not have naval supplies, you're going to really screw yourself over. So don't do that. It is showing Porto. Why is Porto? Oh, because that's a town. That's why. Yeah, we'll do Barcelos. And now I get to pick who is going to be the explorer. And if I hover over, you can see that the cost of the exploration goes down for the admin ability. The preparation time is reduced for the diplomacy, and the monthly progress is improved based on the military. So it does help immensely. And then he's not an admiral, so he won't get that ability. Sometimes you'll see a little telescope. So that'll be an explorer symbol. And then we don't have the ability to purchase an explorer yet. That comes later in the game. So this guy is like just overall the best. I mean, he is a noble, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to choose him. So he's going to take 250 days. I paid 100 ducats. For 250 days, I am actually not going to be spending anything. He is going to be taking naval supplies out of the market, though. And then once he launches, then it's going to cost me 10 ducats a month, which is actually going to cause me to lose some money. So I do need to get a surplus built up to handle the deficit there. That or improve my trades, because you can see my market's dropped. I'm not making as much profit. Now, here's something I'm going to try. I'm going to go to our markets, and I'm going to tell it I want to automate the markets, which is automating the trading as well. Let's just try it, see what it does. I can still click on the trading and see what... These are all locked, so I'm going to get rid of all my trades and let the game decide what to buy. So why don't we do that? Let's try it. I'm getting 7 ducats with my hard efforts, so let's see what they're getting us. So far, nothing. Come on, dude. There we go. There's 3 of them. Look, they got me 14. They're already doing better than me. And it's the minutia. I mean, I think that I could find these profit points as well, but they're doing it without me having to scour the reports all the time. I just don't find that fun. And anyways, so they're giving me 13 profit. And look, I'm up to 16 now. I mean, bam. Alright, so now we have typhus, which I'm happy we have our hospital. So we have a disease happening. Look at that, we got 10% for nobility. That was really good. That reduces their rebel. Who is this dude? He's our cabinet member. So he gets killed and we lose 10 prestige. We only have 8. Remember I was telling you that that's like almost free? We're going to lose 7 stability. The problem is if I kill him, I then have to replace the cabinet member, which is going to cost me money. I'll defuse it. So it's hovering. Like it was at 16, it was down to 13, then 12, then 11. Now it's back to 16 again. I actually think it's doing a better job than I was doing. And it's largely because it's managing the minutia better than I was. Like, I said something and then I forget about it. Okay, so our dude died. So we could spend all this money to get our prestige and legitimacy up. And I'm going to say no. And of course, we lose more. And because we're an itinerant court, they want us to move our capital. I don't know if it's a good idea. So, for example, we can move it to Porto, which is up here, and then the control will be strong here and not down here. The reason I don't like that is because all my buildings I just built are down here. So I'm going to say keep Lisboa, but then I lose more legitimacy. And we got a marriage union with Castile, and then banking now appeared in Genoa. So the marriage union is awesome with Castile. I gotta pause. Our explorers are off. Queen Maria ruling our country. Her stats suck. And sometimes you can get them to join a royal order. That's not the case here. So with her being female, we can do marriages easier. So as you know, she's married to somebody over in he's the king of Castile, actually. So what that means then is we still can't get him to do an alliance. But we did get 40 points. So we're still improving their opinion of us. Okay, professional armies appeared in Paris, like we predicted. Renaissance appeared in Pavia. And again, this is going to be really good. So, Renaissance is right there in Pavia, right? Banking is actually right there in Genoa. And then Paris has the professional armies. Like, not even Paris has it, or France has adopted it yet. But anyways, that's where they spawned, and then you'll just see it slowly grow. This is getting concerning. We definitely got to take care of that. Oh, see, that gives them a court privilege. Gives them 20% more power. Oh my gosh, we're getting a minus 20 to their satisfaction. We're gonna have a revolt soon. It's not gonna be good. I don't know what made this go down, but we need to get that back up. You see our exploration is bad. We could reduce the nobility tax to 0. Stability's growing. We're still getting decent profits here, but this is not... This is getting worse. Yeah. Here's one of the reasons. The court costs can reduce that. taxes kept going down. So you can see they're not unhappy with us anymore. But we have a civil war, so all of our provinces have flipped. Okay. Well, here we go. You're going to get to see how this works. We're going to raise all levies. Okay, and then we have professional army and a regular army, and I'm going to merge them under my general. Then this is going to balance the units. So if I go to formation, they're lined up like this. And so we got regular infantry, we have some cavalry along the edge. Alright. So when they go to battle, only the front line and maybe, you know, archers or whatever will participate. But if one of the flanks were to go down, then of course it makes it so you're a lot weaker. We basically got to take back our country. So I can give them orders here. So we can have them focus siege or carpet siege to have them take the highlighted location. So I'm going to have them take everything down here in the south. Like that. Then I got one more unit up here. I'll give him another general. And some of these guys are horrible. This one doesn't look bad. I don't know if I can use him. Yeah, he's in the cabinet. He's already leading an army. He's already leading the navy. He's exploring. Fine, we'll do this guy. You can see they're not nearly as strong, right? So I'm going to balance the armies best I can. And then the action I'm going to give this guy is defend home territory. So this helps me because, like, what's going to end up happening is they're going to swarm into my territory, and I'm going to be like click, 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 like trying to chase them around, and it's going to look like a Benny Hill show. So hopefully with this, he'll defend the territories as best as he can and move around better. Let's just see how it plays out. I can call Navarre to help us, so I will do so. And that civil war was 100% because of what I did. It was all my fault. And you can always see your progress here. And they give you an estimate of their stability. They don't have any troops or anything, but I'm sure they'll muster some. Let's go. So here you can see we're sieging up. I should probably slow this down a little bit. We lost something. You know, it's because these guys split up. I didn't really want them to split up. That's the defender dude. Let's merge these guys. I was not expecting them to divide up like that. Maybe that's what Carpet Siege does, which was a big mistake. So what if I, Instead of carpet siege, I focus siege. See, they got 8,000 troops now. Oh man, am I gonna really lose? I am. I'm totally outnumbered. Anyways, here's the battle. The attacker is me. I've already lost 2 of my flanks. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. That thing where it split us up really hurt me. Although I did take the south here. This guy's gonna wreck me. So why don't we focus siege? We'll focus siege the north while they're recovering their manpower. Oh, look at that. I can just select all of North Portugal. There. Didn't even notice that. Because they're coming. I need to give them all the troop support I can get them. So horrible. And Navarro's nowhere to be seen. Okay, so what happens if I just say yes to whatever their demands are? I can usually click here. It doesn't even let me do it. All right. That's my only hope. They can't be at 2 places at once. How is this going to work if I don't have nobles? That's the one right there. Crown power plus 50%. Yeah, I don't stand a chance. All my levies are gone. Everything's gone. My explorer finished. Go look here. So now I have to explore it again to be able to settle there. Yeah, they're going for the capital now. I can use my navy to gather and distribute food. It'd be really nice if Navarre could come in with some troops right now. They're over there. They're not coming over. Look, they got 5,000 troops over there. Come on. The water's fine. Now I got the burgers gonna revolt. I think I got too aggressive with taking the crown power from them. But we took it. I'm going for all the castles. I know they just took my castle, but I mean, it's a matter of I'm sieging down 2 things to them sieging down 1. So my thing is I hope it means that I'll win. They're building even more troops. Oh, I just won something else. I don't know what. See, they're not even strong enough to siege, because there's only 120 of them. So they're still not successfully doing anything. Yeah, at this point, I don't even care if they're noble or not. I just want their help. That one's a long way to go. There's still a long way to go. This one's making good progress. These guys are doing something. Alright, so we liberated. I'm going to do something bold. I'm going to go for Lisboa. Because he's stuck there, so if he leaves, then he loses all of his progress. Oh, and there's the Black Death, just in time for all of our wars. So it's in Astrakhan. It's already 2,900 deaths. They took that fort, which is not helpful. They got another army that's slowly building up. Yeah, we're in trouble. I quit. I quit. Anyways, there you go. I screwed up and Civil War's killing me. This is EU in a nutshell. Well, hopefully I gave you at least some decent strategies, so you can play it better than I just did. Some of the things that you aren't seeing yet is once I complete enough exploration, the ability to send out colonies will show up here. They take a really long time. They take like 4 or 5 years to complete, and but they're very similar to EU4 in terms of a certain number of settlers go each month. They tend to have like a little bit of RNG in terms of how many actually arrive, but there's always settlers that do arrive. You know, we were trying to get the alliance with Castile. The key thing with Castile is you just don't want them attacking you. So even if they're not allied with you, assuming you don't do stupid things like I did with the Civil War, you should be okay. I have a feeling that if I let this play out and I lose, I get to continue playing. I'll just be playing as the Portuguese nobles instead of as Portugal. It's just that it really is destroying my economy and everything I'm trying to do. Anyways, that's EU4. Portugal is not the easiest country to play, but it's small enough. It has its own market. There's some advantages that are worth doing. Like if you play as England, a lot of these little countries here are vassals, and you want them because the control goes to very low numbers, like 14 at the edge here, because there's not a lot of control outside of London. They do have control along the water, of course, but when you have a vassal, control is calculated from its capital. So a vassal will have a lot of control around its area, just like we have a lot of control around our area. So by having vassals, or fiefdoms, or whatever other word they use, you actually can make more money from those zones, because adding this to become a part of England when your control is already near zero for the provinces you do own, it doesn't help you. You're not making any taxes. You're not getting anything out of it other than, you know, you're painting the map red. So they did a really cool job. Like in EU4, that wasn't as much of an issue. There was no such thing as control. I mean, there sort of was, but it's not like this. I My son, who has 1,000 hours in EU4, is very frustrated with this game because he doesn't like any of the things they added. Um, I think it's a matter of he needs to just sit back and be patient and learn, um, and then it'll grow on him. But right now he's just sort of like, Dad, I can't do this. Um, but anyways, yeah, I'm gonna have to stop. There's nothing to show you. I mean, I guess we could end this. I'm frustrated. So if I was not recording, this would have been okay. New game. We'll try again. This time I won't upset the the nobles so badly. I'm such a goober. I can't even surrender. Like, I just want to surrender and be done with it. I can't even do that. I mean, they've taken almost everything now. I have two sets of troops that don't even have a nickel to spare. And of course, I'm getting all these events. Here we go. Surrender Civil War. Okay, so I can end the game, or I can continue playing as Portugal, but they're going to lose 50 stability, 50 prestige. Yeah, I'm ending the game. That's... so there you go. I stink. But I mean, the game just came out 2 days ago, folks, and I'm not one of those YouTubers that got this early. I'm one of those people who had to wait all the way till the release time. But I'm having a blast. And like I said, I have Fulcrum Leader upstairs. It's set up. It's ready to go. I got all the pieces out. There's a few things I need to still sort through. It's just I can't be in two places at once, and right now I'm choosing to be here because this game is just great. I just really enjoy it. And anyways, I hope you enjoyed this very brief playthrough. All the concepts I taught you are spot on. Just maybe don't be so aggressive, and you'll be fine. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome.